What's up, everybody? It's CMP with Craftmaster Productions and Studio1Tutorials.com. If you haven't been by Studio One Tutorials and got yourself a copy of Savage 808s, it's a sub that you don't have the best 808s right now. What can I tell you? Real quick, I just wanted to show you guys, man. For you guys that are new, maybe you don't know that I have a site. This is Studio1Tutorials.com. And a lot of people, you know, they look at my YouTube and they're like, wow, you give so much away. What possibly could I need your pay site for? And this is, dude, this site is awesome. It's 50 cents a day. It'd be $15 a month. You know, we have the advanced section of tutorials, which is every week. Well, first I have this free download link to exactly presets, MIDIs, and tools. You get the MIDI files from the tutorials, and this is where, you know, the majority of my type beat tutorials go. I don't really do tutorials on YouTube anymore, like as far as doing a whole beat and stuff like that, because it's a pain. Like you do like a such and such type beat and they give you like a copyright strike, or you can't do sampling and stuff like that. On my site, I'm much more free. I can do whatever I want. I can play whatever copyrighted music. It's easy. But then on top of this, you know, a lot of the stuff that people want to know about, like arrangement and stuff like that, because these videos are long format, I can really get into them on the site. So on top of that, the mixing tutorials here are super tough. What I do is I have subscribers, whoever hits me up and they're like, hey, you know, I got a track that, you know, I want to mix, you know, can you help me out? As long as they you know, agree to let me use their track as a tutorial, you know what I mean, I'll go ahead and give them a free mix. You know, as long as you're a subscriber, you know, we'll go ahead and we'll mix your track. You send me the stems and I can go over what exactly was, you know, lacking with your mix and how to make it better. And then of course there's the whole Mixing Made Simple series where I go through, you know, an entire track from the beginning, setting up the mix, editing the mix. You know, let me see, what are the other videos here? The how to actually do a mix balance, you know, gain staging and everything, the actual mix down. I have a stock mastering section, so you can use just the Studio One plugins. Then I have an isotope and an L2 mastering. I'm actually going to update that with my current mastering chain right now, because that has changed. And then there's the music theory section, which this is my favorite section, because I didn't know how this was going to come out. I did something called March Music Theory Madness, where all of March I just did like 2 music theory tutorials a week. So we go from the beginning, scales and chords, melodies and intervals, doing a lot of chord work, what is open voicing, these 2 chord progression right here, which if you know these chord progressions, you can make 8 beats a day. That, like, once you have this knowledge of theory, there's no such thing as beat block, because you can rely on the numbers. You know, I have this 4-1-2-3 progression, which is, you know, an odd progression, and how to use numbered progressions. The going over the Phrygian scale, suspended 7th chords, the Catch Me Outside the Scale. I was feeling stupid that day. That's actually playing notes outside of the scale, which is really important for you know, for just making music that's cool. How to use hook theory to you know, to start a song. Again, another beat block killer. Using the Dorian scale, using 1 chord as a scale, turning your chords into melodies. And this is actually one of my favorites, is extracting the vibe with chords, and just kind of taking other songs, finding your inspiration, being able to lock into the vibe, and knowing, hey, I want to make X type of beat. These are the chords and scales I need to use to get to that point. Which is all really important for music making. So if you guys haven't been by Studio1Tutorials.com, you know, and you're kind of wondering, because that's the one thing I need to improve on. Is showing the site off, because a lot of people, they just don't know. So yeah, man, that's really what you want to see. But let's get to what you came for, is these hi-hats. And I have this track loaded up. And let's just get the limiter going so you can actually hear this. All right. All right. So hi-hats. A lot of people, when they start making their hi-hats, you know, if you're using whatever sampler you're using, if you're using sample one like I use, first of all, I go ahead and I load my hi-hat sample into sample one, turn the release all the way up, set it to monophonic, because if you're gonna have rolls and things like that, and this isn't any sampler that you're using, if they happen fast, the hi-hat samples are going to play over each other, and it's going to cause the rolls to be unnaturally louder. Whereas if you use monophonic, as soon as one note gets hit, it cuts the next note off. I treat this like an 808. It's not a necessary thing to do, but I just don't like dealing with having a roll and it just jumping out at you and having to adjust it in the velocity. So that's how you kind of do that. Before you do any hi-hat work with Studio One, one thing I like to do is, and this is something that I suggest all you guys do to make your DAW work for you, is get familiar with keyboard shortcuts. This is a easy thing to do, and if you go to search and you type in Quantize, right, you will have. You'll notice this section right here, and where it says quantize, you know, one note, 16th note, half note, quarter note. What I do is I've set these to the keys on my number pad, and then I've set straight and triplet to keys on my number pad. Then there's another section called split at grid, right, and I've set that to the plus on my number pad. And what that enables me to do is I can go ahead and change between the note values that I want to lay down quickly without having to go up here and click. And that's what I'm all about. I hate having to move my mouse around to do things. Like I try to make everything really easy. So if I lay down, you know, a bunch of whole note patterns, and then I want to switch it to eighth notes, highlight this, and then press the plus key, I've already split all my notes, and that's come super fast. Now, the downside of working like this is when you get a static velocity. That's cool and everything, but obviously, you know, to make your hi-hat sound a lot more just exciting and realistic, what you want to do is you want to go to your amp and you want to go to velocity right here. Velo stands for velocity. And what I like to do is I'll take 4 hi-hats, right? And I will set, you know, the first one to 100, and I'll do this a little higher, and then I'll do these two. So each one has a different hit, and now when you listen to it, oh come on, computer. And we'll make it a little bit more pronounced. All right, so instantly you have a better feel to your hi-hats. So now that I have that velocity issue taken care of, I can go ahead and kind of duplicate this out. And I build all my hi-hats off of an eighth note straight pattern most of the time. So now I've got a nice eighth note straight pattern. Now, for one of the tricks I like to use, especially when working with you know, some loops or something that are based around a more live sound, is I'll go into the Quantize settings, and I have loaded up. You can get these from the Studio One exchange. If you have a legit copy, you got to have a legit copy of Studio One so you can hook it up to the internet, go into the exchange, and just get these Akai MPC3 or MPC 3000 groove templates. And you know, I'll go to like the 1650s, or you, I mean, you could Google these and find these anywhere. I don't have any links. I got mine from the exchange. That's as far as I could go. But if once you have them and you drag them into your quantize bar, they'll be there forever. You go ahead and re-quantize this. The only thing I don't like about using these is it resets my velocity. But if we look closely, you'll see that the swing now, some of the notes are off the grid, which is cool. That'll always sound a lot better. And then, you know, you got to go in and do a little bit of this work, right? And just kind of randomize things. I always make the first hit in the bar on 100%, because typically I've noticed just in studying, you know, in studying drums, that first hit on the bar is always like, that's when the drummer will really catch it. Then the other ones kind of tail off. So that's how you get, you know, a nice swing on everything now. But still, we're working with an eighth note straight hi-hat, even though it's got a nice swing on it. We are in 2017 and we just need to reach higher, you know. So I'm gonna go to B and click off this menu, and I'm going to start working with putting some rolls in this now. So let's see, I'm going to do here, I'm going to do like a 16th note roll right there. Then on this snare, I'll do a 32 note roll. On this snare, I'll do a 32 note roll. See how that sounds? Do another 16 here. And another 32. Boom. All right, so got some cool rolls now. It's sounding, it's definitely sounding better. A little bit more exciting. I'm going to go ahead and do some further work on the velocity of the rolls. I'm going to just on my 32s, I'm going to take them down. See how that sounds. Yeah, that sounds a little bit better. Then when I have my 32s, I'm just going to go ahead and copy that same velocity work. I'm just holding down shift when I click those when I click that other highlighted note. If you hold down shift while you click, it'll turn a highlighted note off. Boom. I got a double note action here. Let's get rid of you. There you go. All right. So now we got that working. We got a good velocity. Oh, something's going on. There it is. So now you got velocity. I'm not gonna. Yeah, no, it's gonna piss me off. Sorry. Hold up. All right. All right, so now you got decent rolls, you got good velocity, starting to get the makings of a pretty good pattern here. What a lot of people don't realize they can do is you can layer hi-hats like anything. So for example, one cool alternative is you could go ahead and press Control B, bounce this stuff out, get into audio, people. Deal with audio. It is fun. So we'll go ahead and we'll take this pattern, hold down Alt. See, it's a 9-bar pattern, so I'm going to stretch it out to 16 bars. What that's going to do is that's going to have the speed. You're going to get some disgusting artifacts, which we're going to call sauce. You know, we're not gonna discriminate on artifacts. And then we'll go ahead and pitch this down. Pitch it down an octave. And then what you could do is drop a little reverb on it, throw it back in the mix. So now you got a little bit of texture, you got a little bit of the half speed going on top of the full speed, and adding some ambiance to your track. The other thing that you can do is, for example, you can hold down Alt, and we'll duplicate this track, and then this is this is a pretty fun technique. You find this a lot in the YouTube beats nowadays. Is I'll go ahead and just get rid of all of the regular hats, right? And then take the rolls and drop them down a couple steps. Let me see. Where you at? Let's make it obnoxious. And then the easy shortcut, if you just wanna play with it, hold down Control, hold down Shift, and that'll move you up a semitone. Control Shift up or down in the piano roll. And then I'm hearing, we can go here. And then I mean you could go even further and take a ping pong delay or something, throw it on this section. That's a really long feedback. Use a shorter feedback so it doesn't run over each other. And one of the last things that you could do, you find this a lot in like 808 Mafia type of beats, is you can actually take your hi-hat sample. So let's do this. Make it easy, right? Let's duplicate this guy. And we'll just take one hi-hat note. Control B it. Alright, so we have our hi-hat right there. What we want to do in the editor is we just want to grab a section where that hi-hat really starts. And now we're going to take this, right click on it, audio, send to new sample one. Put that sample one on our drum bus. Get our trim plugin going. Send it up here. Ah, shit. I did the wrong thing. Hold up. Dude, it's like 7 o'clock in the morning. I could not sleep. Alright, so press Control R. There you go. Turn this down a little bit. Stretch it. Alright, that's better. Now we can send this to a new sample one. Boom. Sampley one. Get this guy here. So, like how we had different pitch rolls, you can take your rolls and put them on a reverse track. And it's gonna sound different with different hi-hat samples. Like for this, I probably wouldn't use a such a digital sounding hi-hat. I'd probably go for a more acoustic sounding hi-hat, but I don't want to spend, you know, a video flicking through samples. I just want to show you guys the process, and you can experiment and find your own. But yeah, this is you know, these are just a few like go-to techniques to, you know, to get your hi-hats going. Of course, you can throw looperator and glitch and effect tricks and all that on your hi-hats, you know, like you see fucking like sizzling them doing on Periscope and stuff like that, and that all, that all works too. But if if you have Studio One and maybe you don't have those plugins, I figure I'd show you guys some native solutions to just make your stuff more interesting, and kind of the mind state that you got to have when you're programming drums, because it's not it's not good enough to just click the stuff in anymore. Like not everybody, but the majority of the really decent producers in any competitive marketplace are really spending a lot of time on their programming, man. So this is CMP with Craftmaster Productions, Studio1Tutorials.com. Don't forget to stop by the site, man. 50 cents a day, access to mixing tutorials, music theory, and type beat tutorials. Keep it simple, don't be basic, and we will see you on the next one.